Welcome to a special edition of Locked and Chronic, where I'm actually going to be talking about the challenges of Alzheimer's from the carer's perspective. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm Zana Monique. I am actually the creator of Locked and Chronic, and this is the LNC podcast. And we are going to have a little discussion, my daughter and I, about what it's like caring for folks with Alzheimer's. I took care of my grandmother way back in the day, and now my mum is the one with Alzheimer's, so my daughter is taking charge of taking care of her. So we're just going to have a little discussion about what it's like being a carer, especially back in Barbados. Taking care of someone with Alzheimer's, talk about the ups and downs, what is needed, what needs to be better, and things of that nature. So thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate you being here, taking the time out. How are you doing?
That's no problem. I am okay.
So you mind if I call you Kay?
No problem.
Great, perfect. So let's just get straight into things, and I'm gonna ask Kay a few questions, and then we'll just go on with the conversation from there. And remember, our thoughts are our own. This is coming from our perspective. We are no medical professionals or any other professionals around this. We are just gathering from our personal experience. So if you have any issues taking care of your Alzheimer's/dementia family member, friend, etc., please reach out to those who are professionals, i.e. your GP, etc. And let's start with our first question. What is one thing that you wish more people would understand about caring for someone with dementia?
Basically, you can start to resent them. Resent the individual. You have to keep reminding yourself it's not their fault that they're the way that they are now.
Yeah.
Basically, remind yourself daily. It's a daily struggle. One minute, depending on what stage they're in. At the moment, either it is their episodes are every other day or every 15 to 20 minutes, any day,
Yeah.
And at that point, mom is episode daily.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
So
meaning to say that back in the day, it was not as bad. It wasn't as often.
It was much better. Well, probably at that point, I would be telling myself it was terrible, but now experiencing this for sure back then wasn't as bad as having to wake up to screaming or and it's random, you know. Sometimes you don't know what's happening, and so you always have to remind yourself this isn't their fault. Half the time they don't even know what they're doing and why. They might be experiencing a repressed memory. We don't understand what's going on. So you have to try not to resent them.
Yeah. Definitely understand that. It must really be a strain, though, because you don't. I guess it's kind of like when you have. Well, I will be able to speak to this experience because I've had you and your brother. So it's kind of like when you all were little and you would do things that are really exasperating and you feel stressed, but you can't really blame because they're only doing what they can do. Yeah, you all only did what you could do. And in this case, when you have Alzheimer's, sometimes people have no clue about what's going on with them or what they're doing. So then it's really hard when it comes to having that resentment. You don't really have a direction to put the blame because they're just doing the things.
Yeah. Also, I think it's different from having kids because with kids, You can discipline them. You can
Point. That's a point.
And you know that they're going to grow up knowing, okay, this is wrong, this is right, don't talk back.
Mm-hmm.
But as the years go by, the dementia individual, they're just going to get worse. They aren't going to understand what you're saying. They aren't going to know what's rude, what is wrong, what is right. So to me, I can't really say, I can say that having kids is better, much better, because at some point they're going to grow out of it, but the dementia patient isn't going to. They're going to get worse.
Yeah, which is sad. It really is sad seeing someone
definitely
just change before your eyes. And it's a cruel disease that takes the personality out of the person and everything, It really is. Something else I would like to ask. Is there a specific moment that really stuck with you or taught you a lesson when it comes to caregiving?
Okay, when it got to the point where mom couldn't brush her teeth or use the bathroom by herself anymore.
Yeah.
So it's realizing now that I have to do things that I do for myself daily, like clip my nails.
Yeah.
Wipe the coal out my eye, wipe my toilet, bathe myself. And that's the strangest feeling, having to do things like that for another individual. It's so weird. It just feels weird, It teaches you, I guess, it's not patience per se, but how to deal with it. It's like, I can't find a word.
Resilience?
Yes. Sorry, I was thinking persistence.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But it's like, you have to deal with all these things. Like, I was squeamish, from the get-go.
Of course. Anybody would be.
I'm not somebody that would be able to do these things. I mean, I could cook raw chicken. I could.
And I find that squeamish.
Yeah, but I never like waking up to have to do those things, like especially the toilet area and the bath area.
Yeah.
You just learn resilience. You learn how to first not to be afraid of certain things.
Yeah.
Learn that life isn't as bad. Not life isn't as bad. Like mundane things that you thought were terrible back in the day, like everything becomes like,
you appreciate the little things more better. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Like now I like cleanliness. That's the first thing I told myself, like if I had to move out and what's not, certain things I just wouldn't be able to deal with now.
Yeah.
And in my own space, I would make sure that I'll be able to, I can't.
Understandable.
So resilience is definitely
That's one thing I discovered. Yes, go on.
No, I was saying it slowly changes you, But yeah, what you were saying.
That's one thing I discovered when I was dealing with Granny. You hit the nail on the head when it comes to children, to be honest, because yes, I dealt with you all. I had to clean you all and everything, but it was nothing because you came from me, you're my babies. That was no problem for me, but it was so different doing that for someone who would have taken care of me back in the day, who was the adult, who had a position of authority, you know what I mean? And now was at a state of, I can't do this anymore. I'm wiping my stuff all over the place. I'm taking off everything everywhere, because that's exactly what she did. She would take up anything and try to eat it from anywhere. Different things like that. And at first it was a lot, but as you said, you come to a point where you appreciate You appreciate the little things. You realize that the things that would have bothered you before are nowhere as big as the things that you got to deal with that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And resilience is something that you definitely develop with it, for sure. And I want to say I really appreciate you for that. Really, I see it all the time, and I appreciate you for that, for sure. So how do you take care of yourself while taking care of someone else? Do you get the chance to take care of yourself? Do you have to remind yourself to do something? And I know that you like gaming and things like that. So even if it's something like that, even if it's something like you're doing some a course now, things like that. What are you doing right now to try to take care of you?
Okay. Honestly, most of the time you don't. Like in the beginning, trying to figure out what, like, the new schedule, you put the dementia individual first and then remember yourself later.
Yeah.
And that can be very, very hard in the beginning. Like, things in your body change. Like, with me, I used to work out a lot. Now I struggle to work out, Then you get incredibly tired. With my mom, I don't eat breakfast, I don't eat lunch, but I focus more on her having breakfast and her having lunch, Most of the time you forget yourself, you have to focus, especially if the person lives with you, because I know obviously some people, they're able to leave and come back to the person, but if it's 24/7, the most important thing for yourself is just to get rest. You don't worry about anything else but the person being okay and getting rest. They become someone that doesn't even know their own needs, so you always have to guess what's going on in the midst of all that. You forget yourself. You get me? So it's hard, but yes, gaming has helped me. I only started gaming probably 2 to 3 years ago. But
like
it
proper
has
gaming.
been a stress relief, And I think that's one thing people have to do. They have to do something to get their mind off of what's going on in that moment.
Definitely.
Need something. Like at moments, I would just play music. That's only when mom is like laying down or, I just sing. Because it can be very stressful. It can be
probably isolating as well.
Very depressing.
Yeah.
Yes, very depressing and isolating and lonely, depending on if you have people around you or not. Because you have to realize your feelings don't come first anymore. Your needs don't come first anymore. And you're doing everything for someone that is going to curse you or want to fight you.
Exactly.
So you have to find something that would take your mind off of it, whether it be gaming, going out and watching a movie just find something that would take your mind off it, at least for a few minutes to an hour. It doesn't have to be something long, but something that you can look forward to at the end of the day. Because you really need that. You really do. You forget yourself most of the time, which is terrible. But that's the reality of it. So, but you have to literally make room for yourself with that. You have to force it.
Understand.
So, yeah.
Do you think that you've become better at trying to force some of those things? Better than when everything first started? That you at least are trying to do little things like that, like gaming and things like that?
I think mainly I learned how to it sounds bad, but not put myself first with things. Because I was always someone that cared about people and stuff.
Yeah.
But I realized, okay, some fights aren't worth fighting.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned how to put other things in front of, like, I've learned how to figure out which thing is more important at this time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to quarrel with you for something that's just like putting a rag on the table.
Yeah.
I'm going to move it.
Yeah.
You know? So I mainly learned stuff like that. I haven't learned yet how to really put myself first with a lot of stuff, you know? But I think I'm slowly getting there.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I obviously now I don't pay any nonsense. You know,
Good.
I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. You know? So yes, in that way, I guess I put myself first. I guess more with the mental aspect.
Good.
But not with the physical, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Definitely understand how that can be challenging because, as you said, it's 24/7, and you could be trying to have a plan, and that plan could go awry because of something that's gone on with mom. So I definitely understand how it could be so hard to find that time to just focus on you, even if it's for a minute. But I definitely get that. So therefore, I guess it goes right into the next question of what was the toughest challenge then that you have faced, and how have you been handling it?
So basically trying to understand that time is no longer my own. You know, like I like someone literally has like depend on me to live. You know, to do everything needed to survive.
Yeah.
At that point, you know?
Because one thing I want to interject with before you carry on is that for those of you who are listening or watching, sometimes Alzheimer patients only respond well to a particular voice, to a particular person. And you could have 2 million people that want to help around you, but that person may get on as if, I don't know, as if they're trying to do something to them. And then it becomes then a kind of, unfortunately to say, like a burden to the person that then has to be that person to calm the person down.
Yeah.
Because that Alzheimer's patient is not going to know, okay, I'm going to be calm now, and I'm not going, that person is not going to know heads or tails when they should be doing what. All they can feel in their head is that a certain thing doesn't feel right for them, and only this particular sound, this particular voice, this particular situation, because they're super sensitive to environment. So as long as the environment is a particular way, they're going to have it that way all the time. And then the person that is on the other side of that, unfortunately, would get all of the constant, okay, I have to fix this, or I have to do that. And so I just thought I'd interject that because some listeners may not realize that.
Yeah, with mom, she doesn't like male voices.
Yeah.
Like, that is her trigger.
Yeah.
Honestly, I realized. I told AJ to maybe speak in a higher pitched voice.
Understandably so.
See how it would work, you know, how she would react with it. But I realized she doesn't. It brings back memories that she doesn't like to. You know, remember?
Yeah.
Female voice is mainly softer, probably, and not commanding. I guess that's her. You know?
Yeah, that's her thing. So within that, when it comes to the toughest situation, did you find that being probably the toughest thing to deal with, or there has been more?
With mom, okay, sometimes it's the environment, maybe, like if it's too noisy, etc. But most of the time with my mom, it is random. You know, you can't ever guess what is going on. You think you know, but you do not. So that is the hardest thing. Like, she would be sitting down next to you, and just fine. You look over to her, and she's sniffling and crying.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what?
What just happened?
like just a second ago, you were fine. Now you're crying, and then in that second, she's giggling and laughing with you, a joke or something in her head.
Yeah.
You know? And then in that second,
blow up.
Upset.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think the hard is like whiplash. The hardest thing is figuring out what is going on. You know?
And I guess in a sense for you, probably it could be a bit traumatizing as well, because you got to keep switching up gears.
With her, she would forget everything. But with me and everyone else that has to deal with it, we can't forget it, you know? And we can't ever react because she has dementia. Yeah. So we can't ever react, you know? So we have to internalize everything, you know? And be like, okay, this is not her fault. Yeah. This is, you know? But it's very hard because at times you just don't want to deal with it. You know, you're a human being. Yeah. To experience what you're experiencing. Of course. You know? But yeah, so that is, it can be very hard.
Definitely understand that. So, is there something that surprised you about the emotional side of caring for someone with dementia? I got a feeling you kind of touched on this, sort of, but possibly you may have something more to add. The emotional side of it. Because I remember we were talking about how, you know, you're dealing with this person, you know, there was something else, and then seeing them change and all of that. So yeah, I was wondering if there's more to that, or
you're watching the person deteriorate in front of your eyes, you know? It's also hard remembering the person from before.
Yeah, it is.
You know, they've been replaced by this person you don't even know, you know, someone that wants to lash out at you, wants to fight you, wants to bite you.
Yes. Scratch and everything, yeah.
And you have to come to terms with the fact that you aren't ever going to see the person that cared for you ever again. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So yeah, that is very emotional. You know, like I know probably can't ever picture my mom how she used to be. Probably if I see pictures again, you know, but in my head now, my mom is this. Yeah. You know, I would remember obviously instances where she did stuff for me, whatever. Yeah. But it's slowly being taken replaced, over by this. And honestly, I don't normally want to think about it because I get depressed about it. You know, I get very sad about it. And with her aging and being like this, I watch her life also deteriorate, as in the sense of friendships, in the sense of her community that she had. Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because obviously folks who have no idea about what it's like to take care of someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, they would not realize the social impact as well, and how that can impact you emotionally, you know, because that's a really big deal. So let's speak to that for a moment. So what do you feel about that?
She was very deep in church community, and I guess it was very hard to realize the church wasn't there for her anymore. Yeah. You know, like me as her grandchild and the person taking care of her. Yeah. You know, no one was checking on her. No one seemed to care what was going on. You know, it's only recently that because of someone there, you know, that actually the church actually reached out.
Yeah, thankfully she does, but she's only one person.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is very disheartening to see how fast people can just forget about you and carry on with their lives. Like, you never had a place in their lives at all.
Yeah.
You know? So I became a kind of angry on her
behalf. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like when people call now, I'm very
cynical.
Yeah. Because, well, only with certain people. Because some people, when they call, they don't even ask to talk to her. They just want to know what's going on, and just bye bye then. You know? She doesn't get calls like that now at all. Probably before it would be she gets calls on her birthday. But I think it's mainly people that don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Or they know she has dementia but don't know the
depth of it, right? Maybe the depth of it, maybe the extent of it.
Yeah. It just goes to show the community that you're in now, no matter how deep you are in it, because my mom was the
head of the women's league. She was in the choir.
Choir. You know, it goes to show no matter how high up in whatever you are in, something happened to you and they will just carry on.
Correct.
People don't care as deeply as you think.
Correct. It's so sad though.
You know? It is.
It's very sad. It shouldn't be like that. And the thing is, I'm sure you would appreciate that there's some people that cannot deal with anything like that. There are going to be some people that can't, right?
Yeah,
which is appreciate, which you understand. But in this day of
with things that we can't deal with. In this world, sadly, you have to deal with things you can't deal with all the time. You know, giving just a hello, hope y'all are okay.
This is what I'm saying, because in this day where we have so many different methods of communication, you can do something. You can WhatsApp. You don't have to call if you don't, but you can text. You can do all sorts of things. But yeah, it's unfortunate because it's hard times like these that tell you who are fair weather friends. That's what they call them, you know? So the next question is, what advice then would you give someone just starting out on this journey?
In my honest opinion, don't do it. If you have the option not to.
Yeah.
You get me? If you have another option, go with the other option. You know, this isn't something that you can just do part of the day and the rest of the day just go back to your normal life. It takes up your whole life most of the time, especially if you don't have family helping you, or if you're living with the person 24/7. You know, certain things you aren't going to be able to live. You aren't going to be able to live your life.
Yeah.
You know, I know it sounds terrible, but that's just how it can be. You know, as I said, that person becomes dependent on you.
Yeah.
It's basically like if you have a child.
Yeah.
But that child remains one.
That child becomes that child becomes even more of a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sure that people that have children on the spectrum probably experience this, you know? I wouldn't advise it unless it is like the last resort option, you know, last resort.
So then,
if you have the money to get a caretaker, do that, and then probably take care of them, like when you get back home, like stuff like that. Don't do it 24/7. Don't do it all the time.
How about then a person? I mean, say like our family, we do not have much, and we can't just up and like send her this place or do. How about a person that is in our kind of position? What kind of advice would you give them?
Okay, because my boyfriend is here,
Thank God.
able to we are able to tag team out. and in, so that is very reassuring, but you have to have someone helping you.
Yeah.
If you're by yourself, I don't know. The only way you can do that is if you have a helper.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, I don't know you'll possibly be able to do that by yourself. It will weigh on you. I know the mental anguish the person will have, the depression, you would, like, I cannot see that working out.
Yeah.
Unless the person has some bit of help from someone.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what stage in dementia they're at, because if the person could walk around, talk to you, have a conversation, they would forget it probably the next few seconds. But if they're able to do that and talk with actual sentences, then I think maybe you'll be able to take care of them by yourself. Maybe at that point.
Maybe, yeah.
But you have to realize it's going to get worse afterwards.
Yeah.
So you have to start putting plans into, you have to start planning. Okay, I know if I'm by myself, I know I won't be able to do this as it gets worse or worse, So start planning and figure out a way that it wouldn't be you 24/7. Like, I had a friend message me the other day. There's another aspect of it, especially if they're a family member or you're their only dependent. I mean, they're dependent.
They are your dependent. Yeah.
Right. The thing I had to deal with mainly was banking stuff. Was like everything financially that they were dealing with. I then now
had to take on. Yeah.
So my friend messaged me because their other half grandparent was just diagnosed with dementia. So
yeah, wanted to know what to do.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because they knew I went through a lot, a lot with mom. So, if get your financial stuff in order. If they have a will, make sure it's there.
Correct.
Make sure
very important.
You get the power of attorney documents in the early. And make sure the bank allows that power of attorney. If not, sometimes they have their own documents that the person has to sign.
Yeah.
So if the individual is at that stage where they can still sign and know their name, etc., get them to do what needs to be done and make sure they understand their reality that it is going to get worse, because mom was stubborn.
Yes.
And I know
always
people
was
out there that would be stubborn as well and be like, man, you don't have to take care of this for me. I'm fine. Or I don't want people touching
life
my money.
Can change.
I don't want this and that.
Yeah.
They need to understand themselves that they can't take care of themselves.
They're not invincible, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go and get them checked out if they're falling a lot.
Yeah.
If they're misplacing their purse all the time. You might think it's normal when it's 40-something, 30-something. But honestly, that would show maybe that later down something might go wrong.
Correct.
So just always check, But so make sure with financial stuff, you get that organized and then have a plan, because you cannot deal with it by yourself. I have social anxiety. I definitely could not deal with it by myself. That was the most stress I've had in my whole entire life. And as somebody with social anxiety, I had to buckle up and go to these places. I had to,
especially to do business things.
I was her power of attorney.
Yeah.
And having the bank refuse to accept a power of attorney that was issued by the court, that was devastating.
Yeah.
And then having to deal with pension and this and that.
Do you think
when people?
Forgive me. Do you think? Well, I guess we will get into that. Probably it'll go straight into that. Problems regarding Barbados and dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that falls into that?
With the bank that my mom banks at, they aren't Barbadian, but it's more that they have policies that honestly I think should be changed. Because at that point, if you think about it, there have to be other dementia people there.
Oh yeah,
people that can't get there.
Oh yeah,
right. Just stuff like that in general, and they make it incredibly hard to get anything done in that aspect. If I am their grandchild trying to help them with the bank, I think they're very not strict in the sense, but like they always think someone is coming out to get wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so they don't know how they're a mess up a life just because. Because I remember when they said, "Oh, they're gonna close this and that," and I broke down in tears. I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah,
like that was one of my breaking points.
Yeah,
because I've had a couple, you know, but that had me because with me not working and me just taking care of mom, because mom was my 24/7, you know. Mom's pension was the main thing of helping her.
Right.
You know, because most of the things I got from mom was got was stuff for the house and stuff for her. Yeah. So then I would eat whatever that's there. Yeah. And things I couldn't even eat. Yeah. You know, I would still eat and it would cause me to bloat or cause me to feel nauseous or, you know, but I would prioritize mama.
Obviously.
In the buying of whatever. For me, for me to experience that, it was like, I am putting pause to my whole life. I'm not even using this money for me. You get me? And the bank is saying, well, since we don't know who you are, I am her grandchild. You can check wherever you need to check. I am her grandchild. You know, I'm taking care of her. You know? But the bank was like, since you don't have the thing, we have to close your account. And I was like, what? What? The good thing is that they were able to come and check on my mom.
Which is what I think they should be doing. There should be a person in all of these institutions. Exactly, to come and check. Just come and check. Surely they could do that. Right? That would solve all of the suspicions and all of that. You would see for yourself that XYZ is
Honestly, with the NIS, my boyfriend was the one that made all that happen. Yeah. Because the lady was so suspicious, I think she was about to call the police or something. Like, I don't know what their go-to is always to, you know, oh my gosh, she's trying to take money. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you know?
That's one thing like, I wish they would fix.
Actually need help. Yeah. Actually need help. But because I was young, I think they were suspicious about it as well. I was like, yes, she's my grandmother, you know, yada, yada, yada. The lady was so suspicious about it, but the justice of peace, my boyfriend flagged him down, you know, because he remembered him, because he was waiting, because he wanted to, since with my social anxiety, I can't be around a lot of people, so what he does for me is go and see how
assess the situation.
Yeah. You know? So he went, he realized who it is we need to talk to. Yeah. But at the time he wasn't there. But he walked in after I was talking to the lady. So my boyfriend flagged him down, talked to him, and he gave us the okay. Yeah. He said he would come follow us in the car, come to the house.
Which is what, if all of them did that, that would cut headaches in half. Honestly. Yeah. Because that is a big problem.
And my boyfriend asked the bank as well if they do that. They said no.
Stupid.
They said no. So I always wondered, so what about the elderly that can't
get out? Exactly.
What about the elderly that can't write, can't see, probably can't hear? Then their money that's in the bank will just become the bank's.
Correct. Kind of wonder about that.
That don't have family
to advocate for them.
Advocate for them, you know. So that had me like in such a you I was thinking about that daily because that is terrible.
Yeah.
Like at that point, don't put your money in the bank. That's one thing I could say. Now, don't just leave your money in the bank. I understand why people say trust.
Yes.
Like do trust and this and that.
And I would tell more and more Bajans, please do that, because there is, and you do not have to have a whole lot in order to do a trust either. You can have the bare minimum and put it in a trust so that it definitely keeps in the family and no one else touches that. Yeah.
People understand more of what's going on because the elderly didn't know anything about it.
Of course not. You were not told that. You were not taught that.
Yeah. At least now I can say when I get older and I have children and grandchildren, and I will put my stuff in a trust or something that they'll be able to receive without problem.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that for sure, like the bank needs to change up their policies, their something. But knowing that situation, they probably won't, because that's probably how they mainly get money.
Yeah.
Free money,
So going on from that though, what other things you think the government should be doing then, or society in general, any powers that be should be doing? Obviously, we need to make sure that financial institutions have their own justices of the peace who can leave and actually check on the welfare of the individuals. Yeah. That would help people a lot. What other things?
Like every business that deals with life, like
insurance
life stuff,
and all of that.
Yeah, should have something like that.
Yeah,
like, seriously, because not everyone is going to be able to get up and go. People don't have cars. People don't have probably the little change to go and get a van. Probably, just they probably can't sit down in the van because it.
And then there may be those people out in the country as well that may not be able to get into town.
Yeah. But I think Barbados just needs to up their game with being able to do things online, being able to send documents via email, being able to sign through email as well, because I do that. I had to do that for Mom.
Yeah.
And it was accepted, overseas and stuff.
Yeah.
But down here, they need to get with it with stuff like this. Like seriously. I think they aren't expediting it because they can use the people that aren't able to do these things
for themselves,
use the money, but if you think about it, the same people that are using the elderly now, they're gonna get older.
Yeah.
They're gonna experience what everyone else is experiencing.
Exactly.
Now. So
they don't think about that though. That's the problem. They don't think about that. They don't think that these things can actually happen to them.
Yeah, they don't. Like you can literally get in an accident and lose your function. Like you might not be able to walk, talk, see. As a young person, as an adult, as a elderly too. But anything can happen to you at any moment.
Yeah.
Things are not put in place for anyone like that randomly. You get me?
Yes, of course I do.
Like, it's so hard to do things. Like, for someone to do things on your behalf.
Yeah. Anything else that you think that the government should be doing?
Definitely, monetary wise, they should help. The elderly, the people that built what Barbados is now. They laid the foundation. And the people that are taking care of them should have some help with that. If they aren't able to put them in because I know the head thing people want to do is put them in the geriatric
hospital,
place. Hospital, but you have to remember the geriatric takes all the pension. They take all the money, So if that money was helping you because you were taking care of the person 24/7 for how long?
Yeah.
You know, that's like, okay, you jumping head first into not knowing what's going to happen
next. And possibly then you think that the government should be offering support otherwise as well, like making sure that there's always an opportunity to, I don't know, to do things for yourself, even provide courses, even provide like group scenarios that people like yourself could sit down and talk sometimes while probably nurses could then come and take probably scenarios
because
like
at
that
point you will have a community of people that are experiencing the same thing as you.
Yes.
You know, then like I remember when it first happened, I didn't know how my mom paid the bill, and I think COVID had just come around, so it was very hard to figure out things via online. You know, so I was very lost to how to do certain things.
Yeah.
You know, so having a community where someone can give you like a what to do list to start with, if your great grandmother, grandfather gets diagnosed with dementia, like those are like things you should do immediately.
Yeah.
You know, because for sure I would tell them straight, banking stuff, will stuff, POA, power of attorney. You know, that's the immediate. Like do that with the quickness.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
So you think that
community, having a community for stuff like that would be awesome. It could be even a Facebook group, someone create a group, you know. But I think the government should mainly help with stuff like that, you know,
with the carers especially.
Yeah,
the carers.
You can literally have free courses. Okay, on Tuesdays, we can have a course on how to bathe someone properly.
Yeah.
How to check how to balance their diet.
Yeah.
You know, how to, you know, even sometimes I would love if someone gave me a schedule of like what foods to give them on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I could just cook it.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe if somebody created, you know, one of those food.
Yeah.
That people send food to.
That's actually a really good idea.
Something like that. That would, Mom, you could say, like certain things can be put in place that would help, you know? Some days I don't want to cook.
Yeah.
I cook in bulk now. And I cook probably I do fried rice. Do it up with veg and
nice.
The egg and you know stuff like that. So that if Mom just wants to eat that, it will have protein, veg, starch, everything in it. You know? But then sometimes I'll feel spontaneous and cook probably a chicken stew, lamb stew, something to go with it, you know. But Mama doesn't like certain things, so when I realized she liked the stir fry, you know, the fried rice, I made sure that is the staple, and then add to that, you know, if anything. So I will have mashed potato. I'll mix mashed potato with that, and she would eat it. You know, anything mixed with that, she would eat. So that to me is the easiest thing to make in bulk. You know,
so stuff like that you would love to like direction with it, like in general for most people that have to be caring, you know, that would be nice.
And I know people every day saying, okay, it's gonna be worth it in the end, it's gonna be worth it, everything.
Yeah, but meanwhile though.
Meanwhile, you are killing yourself. Yeah. Mentally and physically.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know if the day will come when it will all be worth it, because at the end of the day, you yourself are getting sick from dealing with a constant, you know.
Yeah.
you're not taking care of yourself anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you're bucking the doctor appointments for the elderly and not you. You know, because honestly, you don't have time and you rather sleep.
Yeah.
You rather anytime you have some
moment.
bit of
sleep. I know, I understand.
Or rest or lie down or something. You have to take those moments because they barely come.
Yeah.
You know? So help with certain things like that. Maybe someone could come in once a week. It doesn't have to be the whole week. Pick a day and be like, okay, this can be your day to chill. In the week. Something like that. But obviously
something that is set up. You mean something that is set up by government that just once a patient is added to the register of Alzheimer's or dementia patients, then these things come into action. Right. Okay. So that's what you think is needed. I think that would be fantastic. That would be such a help to most people. And then that would negate the problem of suspicion. Yeah. Because people would be, they would see the person. They will realize that you're taking care of them.
As well, you should have a certain sort of, not leeway, but people should understand, okay, the government, but that's the thing, but the banks, the government allows the POA. You get me? If the court issued you the POA, they should accept it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I don't understand. Yeah.
They don't. So I think even if the government shows that, okay, this person really has dementia and yada yada, they need to get these things sorted. Yeah. The banks will still do what they want to do. Yeah. You get me? So I think the issue with that would be banks. You wouldn't have the leeway with the banks. But the government, if the government would actually fund something like that, that would be great. I doubt they actually would. But I know that they have that thing where people come to the elderly, the home help and stuff to take care of them and things. I believe you told me with mom's aunts, they have someone that come in and take care of them. Yeah. But I don't believe if it's like, because it's 1, 2, 3, it's 4 or 5 people in the house.
I think that there should be something set up regardless of how many people are around the person, because dementia is not easy. Not everybody can handle it. Some people just can't handle these things. And if the authorities would want these people treated well, then I think they need to put things in place so that carers are better taken care of, so that they can essentially take care of themselves and the people, and also still have extra support otherwise. So I just thinking. But I think that we have talked about so much. There is so much that I have heard in this conversation that I think that we can really take snippets of and remind people of, or give advice about, because this is what's needed. The carer's perspective needs to be heard. I don't think people listen enough. Yes, there may be people that are not interested in taking care, and not because they can't for whatever reason, but because they don't want to, and they're unscrupulous people, but they're few and far between. People generally need help. Not only the folks who are going through the dementia, but their carers as well. And it's with that, I really want to thank you so much for joining me and talking with me about this and giving your perspective, your valuable information. Really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate so much what you do. For those of you out there who may be a bit, That's all right. For those of you out there who may be a bit confused and can't understand like why I would have taken care of my grandmother and then my daughter is taking care of her grandmother, that was not deliberate. Sometimes life happens. Sometimes there are complications behind the scenes. But sometimes there are situations that cause complications, and it just works out that things have to work out in a particular way. But at the moment, this is how it is. And we all try to support each other in whatever way we can. And we're always looking for solutions when it comes to Mum. But in any case, I'm so proud of her. I'm really proud of my daughter for what she's doing. Really am. Again, thank you so much, Kay. And I want to thank you, listeners, for stopping by. And I will see you next time on the next LNC podcast.